All right, boys and girls, this week you are going to start writing your opinion essay about the food that you chose last week to write about. So, Thursday's assignment for you was to fill out a map that looked like this, brainstorming the reasons or I'm sorry, not the reasons, brainstorming different foods that you could write about, convincing someone to try something new. So food that people should try. So you brainstorm some ideas and you should have highlighted one of those and turn that in on Thursday. So this week you are going to start thinking about what those reasons are that someone should try this food, and then you're going to start writing your paragraphs. We're not going to finish the essay this week. We'll finish it up actually writing it next week. But you are going to start it this week. So today, our only goal for today is to look at an example essay and to kind of get our brains thinking about how we're going to write our essay and the reasons that you might include in your essay for someone to try this food that you're trying to convince them to try. So you'll notice that our opinion essay has 5 paragraphs. Your opinion essay will also have 5 paragraphs. So we have our first paragraph, which is the introduction. Paragraphs 2, 3, and 4 are body paragraphs, and each of those paragraphs has one reason why the person should try this new food. And then the 5th paragraph is our conclusion paragraph. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go read through this essay together. And as you listen to me reading this out loud, I want you to think about, what does the author think about sardines? What does the author assume the reader thinks about those sardines? How do you know that? And what are the reasons that the author gives to try this new food? Okay, so I'm going to start with our introductory paragraph, introduction. Fishing for good health. Slimy, scaly yuck. You don't have to travel around the world to find unusual foods. Just go to your own grocery store and you might find a can of sardines. Peel back the lid and whole or nearly whole fish are lying right there inside. Sardines may not make it into most people's shopping cart, but they should. In fact, these tiny fish should be on everyone's shopping list. Okay, so let's stop there. In our introduction, what did the author of this essay do? First, they got our attention. Slimy, scaly, yuck, right? That's the hook for your reader to make them want to keep reading. The author also introduced us, to the food that they are trying to convince us to eat, sardines. It says you might find a can of sardines at your own grocery store. They describe the food a little bit. They come in a tin can, either whole or nearly whole. And then the author states their opinions. Right here, it says, sardines may not make it into most people's shopping cart, but they should. So this author is saying, you should go and buy sardines. And they also say here, in fact, these tiny fish should be on everyone's shopping list. So this is what you're going to want to do in your introduction as well. First, hook your reader. Make it interesting to read. 2, introduce the food that you're wanting them to try. 3, describe that food a little bit. And then 4, state your opinion. Okay, so those 4 things are what you are going to want to do in your introductory paragraph. So let's go on and let's read our body paragraphs. Have you ever had a tuna sandwich? You could have almost the same sandwich made with sardines. Both types of fish are rich in protein. Sardines, though, give you more vitamin E and more calcium than tuna. Sardines also offer heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids. Sardines don't have mercury in them, like many larger kinds of fish, including tuna. High levels of mercury can be toxic, so sardines are a healthier choice. Besides being healthful for you, sardines are also good for the environment. Sardine fisheries leave plenty of fish in the ocean, so sardines can be caught without hurting the local ecosystem. Since sardines are often canned, they have a long shelf life, limiting the amount of food waste. Finally, sardines don't cost a lot of money. They are one of the cheaper foods on the shelf. When shoppers want to save money but still eat healthfully, they should grab a can of sardines. All right, so we have 3 body paragraphs here. They all talk about why you should eat sardines, but they give very different reasons. So paragraph number 2 compares tuna and sardines and why you should choose sardines over tuna. It talks about that they're rich in protein, that it gives you vitamin E. It talks about all the healthy omega-3 fatty acids that the sardines have. So what this paragraph is about is that sardines are a healthier choice over tuna. All right. Then paragraph number 3 says that sardines are good for the environment. It says that right there in the first sentence. They're good for the environment. And then the author goes on to tell us why they're good for the environment. And then last body paragraph, paragraph number 4, talks about how sardines are cost effective. They don't cost a lot of money. So it's good for your pocketbook, right? So the author gave us 3 very different reasons as to why we should try sardines. You are going to be doing the same thing. Let's go on and read our conclusion paragraph. Sardines are a smart choice all around, but they still aren't too popular these days. Sardines are often sold mostly intact with small edible bones. Shoppers aren't used to buying food that looks the same as it started out. Most food these days comes chopped, mashed, fried, filleted, and otherwise changed. It might be unusual, but the benefits of sardines are too many to pass up. So go ahead, pull back that can lid and give sardines a try. Okay, so the last paragraph talks about how sardines probably aren't your number one option when you're going to the grocery store, right? So the author tells us why sardines are not popular, but also talks about why we should choose sardines. And then lastly, the author gives a call to action. So they say, so go ahead, pull back that can of lid or that can lid and give sardines a try. The author is specifically telling the reader to go do something specific. That's what we call that call to action. We talked about that last week when we talked about an argumentative essay, right? So when you're writing an argument, you want to tell your reader to go do something. You're trying to convince them to go do something specific. Okay, so what I want you to do just for today, you watch this video and you're just going to start thinking about, you're not writing anything down yet, but I want you to start thinking about what are some of the reasons you could include in your essay to try to convince your reader to eat the food that you have chosen. All right, so that's what you're going to do today. Think about those reasons that you're going to use in your essay. Think of as many as you can. Eventually, we're going to narrow it down to 3, but think of as many reasons as you can for someone to try the food that you have chosen. And again, you chose that food last week for Thursday's assignment. If you guys have any questions on what you're doing today, please let me know.